Welcome to the Fitness Doctor on ESPN 730, the program where we address your exercise, nutrition, and overall health needs. My name is Aaron Cannady, and now an exercise physiologist in the School of Sports Sciences at Wingate University, the Fitness Doctor, John Acquaviva.
Thank you, Aaron. Today our topic again is chiropractic health. I think a lot of people know about these doctors. I think a lot of people probably, as we talked about last week with our guest, I think that there's a lot of misconceptions and so forth out there. And that was one part of last week's program, is to talk about the misconceptions, just to clarify what this aspect of health is all about. So we're going to continue talking about that, talk a little bit more about the purpose and how they treat and prevent common illnesses. But first, Aaron, what's in store for us today?
This segment's rundown includes studio guest John Rosano, quick Q&A with Dr. A, the social media breakdown, and fitness nuts in the news.
All right, my special guest today is John Rosano. He was gracious enough to join us last week as well. He's a doctor of chiropractic, a chiropractor since 2001, and owner of Rosano Chiropractic in Monroe since 2003. John, thanks for coming back again, and it's good to see you again. That was a good show last week, and here's part of my thinking is that there's a lot to talk about this, right? When you're on programs like this, there's a lot of things, because there's a lot of myths and misconceptions that surround your profession. And I think a lot of people appreciate this show because we guide them and we steer them in the right direction about a lot of things involving health and fitness and nutrition and so forth. And you actually touch on a lot of those things as a professional, as a doctor of chiropractic. So we're going to talk a little bit more. In fact, we might even, don't even hesitate to repeat what you said last week. But We'll talk a little bit more about some of these basic things and like I said, clarify some myths and misconceptions. Aaron, what's our social media breakdown?
If you have a question regarding chiropractic health or would like to request a future topic, follow us on Twitter at Woo Fitness Doctor, or you can like our page on Facebook at WU Fitness Doctor. That's all one word. Or you can always choose the email at woofitnessdoctor@wingate.edu. And now, segment called a quick Q&A with Dr. A. This is where I shoot a couple questions at the doc to specifically get us rolling on today's topic. Doc, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Once you go to a chiropractor, is it a lifetime commitment?
This one's easy. Actually, Dr. Rosano mentioned this last week. No, in fact, in some cases, they go one time and the treatment was effective and they never need to see the doctor again. But sometimes, depending on the issue at hand, sometimes they need to see him. But I think very few people make it a lifetime commitment.
Question number 2. Can I adjust myself?
Adjustment is one of the terms that's associated with chiropractic health, but the answer is no. In fact, one of the things that you mentioned last week, John, was you don't do for instance, a spinal adjustment on yourself. You would never do that. You would never even attempt that.
Well, it's
and you have your own chiropractor, don't you?
Never do it. It's just that I can't.
You wouldn't do it. Yeah, you can't do it.
It's like think of a dentist trying to drill his own cavity.
Yeah, that's right. He wouldn't do it. He has a dentist.
He has a dentist. I have my chiropractor.
Good stuff.
Question number 3. Is there anything addictive about chiropractors?
This sounds actually like a silly question at the outset, but there's so much addiction, whether it's to sugar or caffeine or obviously prescription and illegal drugs and so forth. But no, there is nothing addictive. There's no properties or principles that makes it addictive to people. So we don't have to be fearful of chiropractors, at least not in that way.
All right, it's the quick Q&A of the day. Now, back to the doc.
Okay, Doc, let's continue talking about chiropractic health, this form of alternative medicine. First, off air, I asked you about, do you or do chiropractors in general mind chiropractic health being called alternative medicine? And how did you answer that off air?
Off air, I said, no, I don't think that we mind being called alternative. In the alternative arena, chiropractic is by far the largest healing art in that. Alternative means really just not medicine.
Yeah. So not what we think of as traditional Western medicine, like our medical doctor that we go see either at the hospital or their clinic, whatever the case is.
I would tell you that in other parts of the world, we're not called alternative.
Got it. And there's 40,000 plus chiropractors in America. Are there more chiropractors in this country than any other country? Do you know that?
I don't know that.
No. Would you guess? My guess is that's probably the case.
No. I mean, chiropractic. Let's talk about alternative.
Got it.
Okay. alternative in other parts of the world is really the majority.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they would consider traditional.
Right.
What we consider alternative.
Consider alternative is their traditional, and vice versa.
A good example of that is acupuncture, right?
That's 5,000 years old, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But that is alternative medicine to us.
Our standard. Right?
Yeah, our 200-year-old country.
Yes.
Yeah, actually
So,
250 years old.
Yeah, so it really depends on the viewpoint.
Yeah,
right.
Got it.
Right.
All right, let's talk about some basics here on what you do. Who should see a chiropractor?
It's I would tell you, if you are a living creature and have fallen and have injured yourself, and you feel like you are not functioning correctly, you should really go to look at least seek out a chiropractor for a consultation. Find out if a chiropractor can help you.
Got it.
That's not everybody should see a chiropractor. I don't think everybody can be helped by chiropractic.
Okay, that's good right there. What? I
mean, there's all sorts of modalities, all sorts of treatments.
Yep.
That's why there's that many people are out. There's that many people. There's that many different types of services out there. Some people respond very well to medicine, right? Those people.
Prescription medicine is what you're referring to.
Prescription medicine.
Yeah.
And we know others that maybe in our families, gosh, they take the medicine and their symptoms are completely opposite. Those people, I'm kind of like one of those people. Medicine does not work well in my body. I think that's what naturally turned me into a chiropractic patient, just because it's natural. And I do well with it.
And it made sense to you from the start, it sounds like. Okay, so let's touch a little bit more on that. And I think we talked about this a little last week about when you have a relationship with medical doctors and they refer some patients to you, you refer patients to them and so forth. What are some instances where people come to you and they rely on you, they trust you, they're a patient from other treatments in the past, but you will say, no, that's not really my area of specialty, or simply put, you just say, no, I think you need to see a medical doctor.
Right.
So people have high cholesterol, for instance.
Right.
You would tell them what?
Well, I don't prescribe statins.
Okay.
So my
statin would be like Crestor, Lipitor, or something like that. Yeah.
So my first line of thought is, why don't we go to what's the cause of the problem?
Yeah.
So my first thought was, well, let's do a nutritional workup.
Yeah.
If someone is eating bad food, they're going to, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So,
it's likely that's what's causing,
yes,
at least in part. Yeah.
So, the first thing is to address the issue. And then you really have to address the root.
Yeah.
So if the issue is high cholesterol and the patient has plaquing and they have a history of plaquing, and their history is that all their parents die of heart attacks, then I'm going to send that patient over to the medical doctor and make sure that they get a blood workup done. And if they need a statin, they should have a statin.
See, this is the part I like about what we're talking about now, in particular, you as a chiropractic doctor, in that there's more of a holistic view of treatment and seeing your patients improve. Do you guys use that term, by the way? Holistic approach or a holistic view of this? Because talking to them about their diet and exercise, which I know you're a proponent of as well, it seems to be missing in some discussions between the traditional medical doctor and the patient, because they're so quick to prescribe some type of pharmaceutical, right?
Well, it is. My belief is this: is that if you go to a medical doctor, you're going to get medicine. If you go to the podiatrist, you're going to get some foot care, right?
Yeah.
You go to the chiropractor, you're going to have spinal care. So, it's all really relative to what the problem is. And I think the biggest problem that we have in our society is we don't know how to use chiropractic.
Yeah.
How do I self-diagnose?
Yep.
Our current situation is the medical doctors are pretty much timed. You got so many minutes with each patient. My patients come to me with their test results. They come with me to all, their MRI results, their CT scans. I read them with them. I take the time with my patients. I treat the patient, not the body part.
Got it. Okay, folks, you're listening to The Fitness Doctor here on ESPN 730. I'm Dr. John Acquaviva. My special guest today is Dr. John Rosano. He is a doctor of chiropractor. We got a couple minutes left in this segment. Aaron, what do we got right now?
We have the fitness nuts in the news, the segment where I find something or somebody crazy or wacky in the world of fitness and nutrition. And I feel like I've been neglecting the women fitness nuts a little bit these past few weeks.
Well, I don't know. That's not true, because remember we had the 8.5-month pregnant sprinter, and she did 800 meters.
She did 800 meters a couple weeks ago, but for the most part, I haven't been doing that many women. So
I would agree with that.
Casey Catanzaro, and she's the first woman ever to qualify for the finals of NBC's American Ninja Warrior.
I am familiar with. She's a gymnast.
She's a former NCAA
and she stands
gymnast,
about 4'11",
5 feet,
okay,
only 100 pounds.
Wow.
And she's the first woman ever to clear the wart wall, which is a 17-foot high curved wall that you got to get a running start and get over the top of it.
It's kind of like the
17-foot high wall. She's only 5 foot nothing.
Yeah,
so.
that is impressive. I actually saw a clip of her doing that. It is impressive. Now,
so what does that tell you, though?
What does it tell us?
That tells you
means
that young lady is strong.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Right? Strength is the issue here. When we're talking about health, it's a lack of strength that is what is the problem with most of us.
Yeah.
If we're talking about chiropractic, what holds your spine together?
Yeah.
It's muscles.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you don't have good musculature, you're going to fall apart.
And there's hundreds of them that we don't even know the names of. In fact,
we know the names of them.
No. Here's what
I do.
Wait a minute. Here's what I mean by that. I teach anatomy and physiology, lecture and lab. And 2 of our labs, of the 14, are on muscles, and we only get to less than 60 of them. And there's over 600 pairs of muscles. And when I say we don't know the names of them, they're just ones that are easily dismissed because they're so small, but they all play a role. They wouldn't be there, right?
That's core musculature. Right.
Yeah.
The core musculature is anything below basically the arms and above the waist.
Yep.
Those muscles are there to transfer energy from the lower extremities to the upper extremities, and from the upper extremities to the lower extremities.
Yeah.
That's why you need core muscle strength.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you don't have that transverse.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden now you're weak.
Yeah, exactly. I like that you tout that. So you talk as much nutrition as you do fitness, and as much fitness as you do nutrition, as well as chiropractic health, right?
It's all combined.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can't treat just part of a patient.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I like that.
If you treat part of a patient, you're not giving the patient what they deserve.
In the second half of our show, I want to talk more about that, about why there's so many. They come from the same school of chiropractic, but they have a lot of different philosophies, just like, I guess, medical doctors.
Yeah, sure.
But it seems to be a bigger range, because so many of them, for instance, they will shun anything that a medical doctor says or any practices of that. And that's troubling to a degree, and I think it is for you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, back to our fitness nut in the news. Anything else about this young lady?
Well, her time was 7th best out of 15, and all of those are men. So.
And those are just people who qualify. I want to say there's probably hundreds, maybe thousands of people who try to qualify.
They go to different cities, so she won a Dallas city finals, but you even have to qualify to get to your city finals. So.
Oh yeah, and she is in a way become popular, maybe even famous because of this. Because I think that's actually gained a lot of viewer traction.
A lot of national attention.
Yeah.
So the finals start August 11th, and they try to take on Mount Midoriyama. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly.
That was perfect, Aaron.
And just for what it's worth, I learned a long time ago, there's nothing wrong with getting beat in a workout. Women.
And you must feel.
He's mentioned she was very strong. There's nothing wrong with that. So,
no, absolutely. And in fact, you must feel out of place because there's Dr. Acquaviva, Dr. Rosano, and then tell me this gal's last name as well.
Casey Catanzaro.
Oh,
Catanzaro. So we got 3 Italians.
Yeah, and then there's Aaron.
And then there's Aaron Cannady.
So that tells you the Italian group is probably 3 times as crazy as more people.
All right, that's all we have time for in this segment, folks. Join us right after this message from Wingate University on The Fitness Doctor on ESPN 730.
Planning your next step in life? Come complete your education in a dynamic, caring environment at Wingate University. Enrollment and construction have skyrocketed in the past 2 decades as students pursue challenging and rewarding degrees in fields like the health sciences, business, and education. U.S. News & World Report has named Wingate University the 6th best value in the South. Visit one of our 3 great campuses, Wingate, North Carolina, Hendersonville, or Charlotte, or check us out at wingate.edu. Major in a great life at Wingate University.
Hi, and welcome back to The Fitness Doctor, the program we address your exercise, nutrition, and overall health needs. I'm Dr. John Acquaviva, an exercise physiologist in the School of Sports Sciences at Wingate University. Aaron, what do we have this segment?
This segment rundown includes special in-studio guest John Rosano, more on chiropractic health, the social media breakdown, and the takeaway.
All right, folks, let's get back to it. We're discussing the field of chiropractic. In the first part of the show, we talked about a couple things. First, we talked about like who should see a chiropractor, John, right? And it just certainly depends on what their condition is, what their illness is, what the problem they're dealing with. And one of the things that you freely admit, unlike a lot of people in your field, sometimes it is whatever their issue is, they should go see a medical doctor. And on the other hand, there's some people that go see a medical doctor and you feel they should come see you, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's people just don't know where to start. So virtually, if it's a biomechanical problem, if you have fallen, if you've injured yourself, if you've had a car accident, think of your spine and your whole body. If you've torqued your body out, you probably should see a chiropractor. If you've got a bug and you got a virus or a bacteria, that's a medical doctor.
Got it. That's a really good example there. All right, we'll come back with our guest, John Rosano. Before we go on, Aaron, give us the social media breakdown.
If you have a question regarding chiropractic health or would like to request a future topic, follow us on Twitter at WU Fitness Doctor, it's all one word, or like our page on Facebook at Woo Fitness Doctor, or you can always choose the email at woofitnessdoctor@wingate.edu.
You're getting better and better at that, my man.
Well, thank you. And we have a question from the Twitter handle, Great Gatsby. And he asks, what should people expect if it's their first time with a chiropractor, and is it covered by insurance?
Oh, big one, John. A two-part question. So answer the first one first. The initial visit, what's that like?
The initial visit, you call, you make an appointment. You don't need a referral. You bring in your insurance card because most insurance companies cover chiropractic.
They do. In fact, does it matter what the service is that you're going to provide, or regardless of what it is, you guys are in cooperation with the insurance companies?
Every insurance company is different, but because chiropractic has been proven that it's safe, effective, and much less expensive, insurance companies are on board.
Got it.
So they want to send us over.
Okay, so we'll come back to that. What's the initial visit?
You come in, you would sit down, you fill out paperwork telling me, really what the chief complaint is.
And maybe a little of your history.
Your health history, just basic, same forms you would do at a medical office.
Got it.
Then I sit down and we do a consultation. Consultation really is, tell me about your problem. And I found that if you listen to your patient, they will tell you exactly what the problem is and how it happened. And so from there, that gives me an idea of where I need to go to do the exam. So then I follow that up with an exam. If the exam also is positive to the results that I anticipate, then I move to an x-ray.
Got it.
And then I take an x-ray of that area of the spine, and then the x-ray tells me the severity. Through the severity of the spine and the severity of the symptoms, I put together a treatment plan, which then covers that patient's situation. So it would be, first, we're going to get you out of pain. Then we're going to bring the spine back to normal alignment. Now we're going to bring up the strength to hold you there. And I'm going to give you some exercises that, by gosh, you pretty much just could keep on doing.
Give me an example. Somebody coming in and you think exercising or exercises are the best treatment for their issue. Can you think of an example of
every issue I have? I would tell you almost every issue that comes into my office stems from weakness.
Or inflexibility, right? Because sometimes you would...
Well, you're inflexible probably because you're weak. If you're weak, your body will succumb and will not allow that body part to move because it's weak. So the other muscles tie down, right? And that's what causes muscle spasms.
And a good example is this, people that have too much weight, guys especially, in their stomach. The stomach muscles are weak. It pushes the lower back forward. And then when they bend over, it compromises those muscles. And they have lower back pain, right? You probably see this all the time, right? Because 80% of all Americans, by the time they're 40, have some type of lower back pain.
No, it's really...
You are always going to have a job, my man.
If I would love to be able to teach people how to sit correctly. If you look at the way that we're all
How are we sitting? Are we sitting okay? Straighten up.
Bad. Bad. You talk about having that curve in your low back.
Yeah.
There are 3 curves that are specific to the spine. One in the low back, one in the mid back, one in the neck. If you don't own those curves, you're not functionally fit.
Got it. John, let's talk a little bit more about the American Medical Association and its relationship with chiropractic health. Now, I know that it was probably in the 60s. I think it was the original kind of conversation about this that the American Medical Association had, in which they basically shunned the chiropractic health And I wanted to say they tried to dismiss it and maybe even remove it from society as a form of some type of treatment,
Yes,
right?
Sir. That's you got it down right. And basically, it didn't win out.
It didn't win out.
And what's happened subsequently is that I really don't think the problem is the medical doctor. The medical doctor, the newest, the new guys,
the newer guys, yeah,
they know. They know. I mean,
and what do they know? What do you mean by that? They know.
They know that the spine needs to be realigned.
Yeah.
They know that it's caused by a pinched nerve. They know that those symptoms can be helped by chiropractic. What they're not really able to do is, if they refer outside of their American Medical Association, then the big money makers, the pharmaceutical companies, aren't going to make those $3 every day because that patient's taking 3 pills a day for their pain, rather than coming to me, having it really completely taken care of, and then they don't have to worry about it.
Got it.
So it's all money. It serves, money is the crux.
But let me ask this. You've been a chiropractor since 2001.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen a shift in the standard Western educated medical doctor?
Yes.
Toward you?
Yes. Yes.
And what have you seen, say, since 2001?
Just much
Probably
more
what
acceptance,
yeah.
more acceptance, more referrals.
Yep.
There are certain doctors in Monroe that regularly send patients to me. I send patients regularly to them.
Got it.
You build a relationship just like any other professional group does.
Now, I know this is a general question. You certainly haven't taken any polls on this, but the doctors that you've dealt with, or maybe the doctors just over the years, what percentage now do you think freely they either talk about it in a friendly manner or in a manner that says, no, this is a legitimate form of medicine, to the fact that they even refer patients to you? What percentage do you think? 50%, 80%?
I'd say 50.
50%.
And I have patients I have doctors, let's restate this. I have patients that come in and say, Dr. So-and-so referred me to you.
Got it.
I have other patients that say, Dr. So-and-so referred me to a chiropractor.
Got
okay.
it.
So that's, it's really, I'm glad at least the American Medical Association is seeing that there's a place for us. We work together for the patient, not, we shouldn't work against each other.
Okay. Some of the issues that you folks have run into over the last couple of years is the effect of the spinal adjustment. And I want to say that some research, some studies have shown that it's safe but not effective. And I want to say that others have shown that it's safe but effective. Is that fair enough to say in a nutshell that no?
Okay, so let me tell you. I just went to Raleigh. We did a study over the 10 years with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We took their data using diagnosis code 98941, 98942. That's basically low back pain. Okay. We took their data. Their data showed that if you went to a medical doctor, I'm going to round these numbers up.
Now, who's their data again?
The data is through, this is North Carolina over the last 10 years, Blue Cross Blue Shield's data.
Got it.
Okay. And we're looking at low back pain. The patients who went to a medical doctor, I don't know the exact numbers, but I want to say it's about $4,900 to take care of that case. Versus if you went to the chiropractor, I want to say it was like $1,700.
Got it.
Okay, so it was about a $3,000 difference. What I learned while I was in Raleigh was that Blue Cross Blue Shield was really not promoting that information, because if they did, then less people would be utilizing their services and they would get less money.
Okay, so you're talking about money, but go back to that comment about the fact that some research has shown that it's safe and ineffective, but also has shown that it's safe and effective. So you're saying that it's cheaper, or it's not as expensive, and it's effective.
Absolutely.
But isn't there some research out there that says that it's safe, but it's not effective, or it's inconclusive whether chiropractic care is effective?
And I would say yes, and then I would say look at who is doing those studies.
But isn't it also possible that it depends on what they're trying to treat, and also the doctor himself, right? I'm sure just like any other field, not just in medicine, but there are chiropractors who are not effective at what they do.
You know what? In my class, we had 40 doctors, okay? We're taught to feel the spine. Well, if some people have good hands, some people don't. So there are people who treat with their hands, other people who treat with machinery.
Got it.
Okay. There's going to be some doctors that you talk to your patients that love their medical doctor. Some patients hate their medical doctor. Treat them terrible bedside manner. Yeah. It's how you treat your patient ultimately is what's going to be effective.
Got it.
If the patient feels comfortable with you, then you're going to be able to do your job.
Let me ask you this. When people come in, my guess is when people come in, they are already at least sold or they're comfortable with it because they've been referred by a medical doctor who they trust. That's not the case?
No.
So you feel sometimes when they come into your office, you almost have to sell them. So forgive me for using that word.
I don't worry. Selling is not a problem. I have
do you have
educate.
to do that? You have to educate. Okay.
Let's see, this week I think I've had 3-4 new sciatic patients. 2 of them had never been to a chiropractor before, never been in my office before, never been into a chiropractic office. They had no idea what I was going to do, but they were told that they need to see a chiropractor.
Got it.
So before I start with anything, I sit down, here's my chart, I go through the charts, I do anatomy lesson. You've got to educate your patients so that they understand what you're going to actually be doing for them.
And that's actually something that medical doctors generally don't do. Not that they're not educated. In fact, they're very well educated. But there's a strict time limit with most, and I think we've all experienced that,
Absolutely.
right?
Well, it's all part of the private care and the.
What's the average time that you spend with your patient? This past week, say.
I'd say a good 15 minutes.
Which is probably double or triple than I think the research has shown over the last couple of years.
This is how I usually do this. It depends on how fat. This morning I had to make quick time, right?
Yep.
So I probably saw patients for about 4 or 5 minutes. Now on other days when I'm a little bit slower, I'm going to take time and I'm going to do muscle. We're going to talk about exercise. We're going to talk about muscle weakness. Where do we need to go? Throughout the course of the treatment plan changes. In the very beginning, most of the job is mine.
Yeah.
As the treatment plan ends, really that responsibility goes back to the patient. Now you've got to do the exercises. Now you've got to maintain the strength in order to hold yourself together.
And that's actually one of the keys and the differences between is that you put the ball in their court, and we do need to be responsible for what we eat and how we exercise, how we sleep and so forth. And often I think the patient wants the doctor to help them and put the responsibility on the doctor. Instead, the responsibility needs to be on us.
I would totally agree with you.
That's a great way to end this segment. You've been listening to The Fitness Doctor. I'm Dr. John Acquaviva on ESPN 730. And remember, folks, you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on The Fitness Doctor.